All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to our AMA. AMA, if you guys don't know, stands for Ask Me Anything. We kind of adopted it from the Reddit community. This one's going to be an Ask Us Anything. Welcome. So the whole point of this is to dedicate a lot of time to you guys to answer all your questions. Over the last day, we've received quite a few different questions from you guys regarding the product. On the call with us right now, we've got me. My name is Scott. I am running the product marketing for the Wisecam Outdoor. We've got Dave with the big old headphones on right there waving at you. Dave is head of marketing and one of the co-founders. We've got Lee then in the other corner with the going through warp speed. Lee was a product manager on Wisecam Outdoor. And then we got Dong Sheng, who is a co-founder and chief product officer. I think he's also in some kind of Star Wars element, but I'm not sure which one it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to field some questions from you guys in the chat. We're going to try to answer those as they come along. We're also going to start by answering a lot of the different questions that you asked over the last day. I did want to start it off just really quickly. I think we're gonna try some fun demos for you guys as well. I know Dongsheng has one lined up for you when we start talking about the weather resistance. I just wanted to show off a little bit the size because I know the size on the product page can be a little difficult to figure out how big it is. So this right here is the base station for the camera. This is the camera itself. And so then just for comparison, here's our V2 camera. So just to kind of get us all kicked off, I know a couple people were asking about size. I thought this might be one of the easiest ways to do it. So fairly small, fairly discreet, especially this. The base station is super light. You'll see that it has the USB, and then it also has a place for the micro SD card. So I just want to start everything off with that, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started with some of the questions. And so if I can let me find out where I put the question. So the first question that we have, is there any plan to access the video streaming of the Wisecams on a PC browser instead of just from the app? Dongsheng, can you answer that one?
Yeah, I think that's a little bit out of the scope for this AMA, but we have been working on a technology called WebRTC. That's currently in development. We don't have a great timeline for it, but once that's proven to be available, then that makes view on PC a much easier possibility than what currently the architecture is.
Cool, thank you. How about how far can you put the camera away from the base station?
So I'll do that one again. I think everybody talk about range. There's different way to talk about range. When we test both in the open field as well as in real life like this. We have over 200 testers on this. They put around their homes. In the open range, you go from, the camera can go from 100 to 150 yards, still keep the video. But again, that's like nothing in between. But when you're getting back to a normal house, it really depends on the number of walls. Is it brick or is it metal or is it just less dense material in the between? So I have a normal house. I have 4 cameras around my home, so it all covers every corner. So that's kind of the most frank answer I can give you instead of giving you a marketing jargon of some kind of a open space field answer.
Another question a lot of folks were asking is how this compares to other competitors on the market. We don't have to necessarily mention the competitor name for name, but just in general, can you let us know how the Wisecam Outdoor stacks up against other competing cameras?
So I think first of all, it's a battery powered camera. There's only a few players in the battery powered camera. And the reason we want to make it battery powered, which I think we will talk about more, or we've talked about in the other sessions, is to really kind of unleash that possibility of putting this camera into the spaces where it's very hard to put with a wired camera. You don't have to drill holes, all that stuff. So it's a battery power camera. We have PR, we have battery, rechargeable. So I think it's pretty standard. The one thing I would say that differentiate a lot about our camera with others is a mode called travel mode. We built this with the idea of not only you want to put this camera around your home to help you monitor security, through our users using the Wisecam V2 and the pen, we've realized that a lot of users really, really want to monitor a variety of different things around their homes. A lot of those places would have no battery, or even you want to go farther beyond your home, you would have no internet. And how do you able to keep an eye on the things when there's no internet? And that's where the travel modes come in, and it allows a direct connection between the camera and the phone. And you can view live, but it's limited by the range of the connection. But you can also set up tasks. For example, you can set up a time lapse or schedule recording, and you can put the camera in a place where you don't need to worry about the battery, you don't need to worry about power or Wi-Fi. You just put it there, and the camera will record it for you. And when you're done with the task, you take it back and you can see the results. I think that's something quite unique compared to other cameras. Other than that, I think we are strive to be as good as everyone else in terms of the battery, the live stream, the motion detection, all that good stuff.
Awesome.
Anything you want to add, Dave or B?
I mean, you talk much about price, but the price is something that obviously we try to stand out and be different on, but that price that we hit was extremely, extremely difficult. And again, that's one of those things where product margin for Wyze is just like all-time low, right? And so we're giving everything we can to our users in hopes to gain that long-term trust with users. And yeah, that.
Oh, we may have lost Dave. So I think I can probably help add on to what Dave was saying. Yeah, the trust of the customer is like the number one thing we're trying to go for. I think, in my opinion, one of the cool differentiators of Wisecam Outdoor is that we're a company that makes more than just cameras. So a lot of the people in the space right now, they just make cameras, or they don't make a wide range of products. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a comprehensive smart home solution. And so everything will work together with the single point of being the app. So when you can create rules within the app, you can say, if this happens, then do this. That's one of the differentiators that we're really proud of with our products. Looks like we may have lost Dave entirely. I'm sure he'll come back up. Dongsheng, can you tell us a little bit about, we know it has night vision, and we know it has the night vision, we measured it, and we essentially say it's good for 25 feet of yard illuminating night vision. Can you tell us a little bit about the IR lights, how many IR lights there are?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. So you can see the actual video from the product page where there's the day and night, and that's an actual video from our testers. We really love that our tester did that, and it shows the real life experience that you were to put it out there. But if you want to take a look at technical, I'm gonna kind of remove my virtual background so you can better see. So we got the inside of the camera. So this is the camera. So this part is the frontal lens where the IR goes in, hitting a PR sensor behind this. This top part is where the IR coming out. So this is the you can see, right? This is the front of the board. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 on each side. There's 850 millimeter IR lights. So those are the ones that we use to illuminate for the night vision. So it's about, as Scott mentioned, about 25 yard kind of distance for the night vision.
Excellent, pretty cool breakdown. Didn't see that one coming. That's pretty cool. There are a lot of questions around the solar accessories and if we'll have those.
We so for solar, I think we are looking into it. We do not have it right now because you know we've spent most of our time and resources on making this product as the core functionality as reliable as functional as possible. There are a lot of things on the roadmap that we will do after we push through the current phase. We're having the core functionality working well and reliable. Solar panel is one of them. We'll look into it. But as you know, when you are kind of operating a product on the scale of millions of units, we have to go through a very thorough investigation, the testing before we can see it's available. It takes a long time, take a lot of time, resource to validate and research it. So that's the answer. We don't have it currently, but it's something on the road post-launch that item we're looking into.
Hey, I want to add on to that. If I'm back and stable, my internet connection's a little wacky right now, but just like we did with Wisecam V1, we will continually make improvements to any product we put out. I mean, you look at V1 when it first came out to where it is today, that there's just so many more features. So I imagine that I mean, all these things that you guys probably want, we'll listen to you and we'll hear your feedback once you start trying the product, and then we'll build that stuff into the product wherever we can. So we are definitely committed to the long-term relationship with our customers and the long-term use of these products in our customers' hands. So we want to make it even better.
Great, thank you guys. So it looks like there are a lot of people that live in warm climates in the US. And so this one is from someone in Arizona, where I'm sure is one of the hottest areas of the US. They want to know what the maximum operating temperature is, and then we may as well let people in Alaska or colder areas know about the minimum operating temperature as well. Can you guys share a little bit about that?
Lee, do you want to jump in on this?
Yeah, sure. I can talk about like the operating temperature. Currently, the operating temperature is from -4 to 120 Fahrenheit. So people we got some comments in the app talking about, oh, the operating temperature doesn't cover my area, but based on our beta testing results, the outdoor camera is operating properly. The battery might drain slightly faster, but we have pretty solid results.
Yeah, I would also add it's battery drains if you are in a -4 Fahrenheit temperature. It doesn't drain the hot temperature,
yep.
Mostly in the cold temperature.
What's the coldest temperature that a beta tester tested it in? Do we know that?
Yeah, we have. Let me see if I can pull it up. We have a user who has that completely encased in ice. I don't know what's the temperature though. But yeah, it definitely went through very, very harsh weather. Let's see if I can I do a presentation of this image? This is can you guys see this one? This was through the, oh, it's a black screen?
Yeah.
I can see it.
Oh, I can see it.
This was this happened during the beta test. We actually had a very, very long beta. And we really appreciate our beta testers and be patient with us. We had a beta through from July 2019, although a smaller group, and gradually expanding through the winter all the way till now. And this happened in the winter. I'm shocked by this image of kind of the completely frozen, but then afterwards it still works.
Cool.
Any other Scott?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. My fault. Got another question for you regarding if the Wisecam Outdoor is discrete at night, or if the IR lights are very noticeable.
IR lights are noticeable. I would say it's. I mean, if you look at it, you'll see it. You really need a lot of IR to blast in the night to be able to see it. So we went with 850 millimeter. So it's it's noticeable. It's a deterrent if you want to think about it that way.
They're not a, so I would add, because I have the Wisecam Outdoor. You like have to look at it to notice it. It's not like it's not like a floodlight, or it's not readily apparent. That's just my opinion. I think it kind of
good clarification. I think you think about it's a similar light as V2. Just there's 8 of them instead of 4. So that's about how visible is V2 at night.
Yeah, that's probably a good comparison. If you have a V2 and you look at it, that's probably how you'll see it. The next question is about mounting, and so people are asking if it can swivel.
The mounting, I'll do something here. I think it's interesting. So I've got the new camera here. I'll kind of show you guys the mounting options here. Do a quick unboxing. I'm gonna move this thing here. Try this a little bit. Oh, sorry. So you open it up, right? So we've got the camera here. And we can talk about the remaining, the base station later, but I just kind of focus on the mounting. So there is a mounting screw here. So we kind of inherited the classic 3-axis design of the current Wisecam, where, well, this is the difference is a detachable, very strong magnet here, but this base is very similar to the mechanism of the current V2, but much stronger, because this is a little bit stronger. If you actually receive your order, you'll feel that it's much stronger, much heavier than the V2. So we got all this hinge pretty strong. So what you do is so there's some mounting holes there. You basically take a screw and slot it in. You can tighten it up from the inside, or if you just slide it in, make a little bit friction, I think it's strong enough. I have that hanging there for years during the testing without much issue. And then you see the camera on top, and there you go. And you can take it out for charging. And here's another thing: if you really wanted to be very secure, so we got the standard a 1/4 inch, what was the term, hole in here, and you can use anything like this. Because I bought this from Amazon, just a little standard pot here, and then you can just you can screw it in this way. There you go. That's your secure mount. If you really want it to be very secure, you can mount this on the wall, and then you do all sorts of things. Yeah,
so we actually in our behind the scenes video that we have out, I think there's a shot of someone that put it on a real flexible tripod, and they took it to the beach, and they take it to look after some of their animals.
And one of my favorite testers was the guy that was herding his sheep, and he would put it on that little tripod thing, and he would just move around his field as his sheep were kind of moving to keep an eye on things. I still got to figure out, because that range seemed long to me. If he's out in the middle of a field herding sheep, that, you know,
could be travel mode.
Yeah, or he could be using travel too.
Or he's just in a very open space.
I think he's got a bunch of, or he's a super open space.
It's open space.
But we got to go do like a user test on that guy to see what's his setup.
The next question is, I think it pertains to a lot of different Wyze products, but do we have any plans for HomeKit integration?
So we have, we actually, some of you probably know Frederick on our team. He has been kind of the person who interact with Google, Alexa, Apple. We've been talking with them. You know, we're evaluating it every time, like just had the WWDC, and we have new information. We are constantly evaluate the situation. With the V2, we have kind of explained the reason that we cannot do it, because there's some technical limitation on the hardware. So every new camera, we kind of evaluate that situation. dynamically.
Excellent. The next question I got, will the outdoor cam include a temperature sensor to superimpose on the video feed?
We'd love to, but I guess the user is talking about like a sort of infrared camera, like a FLIR type of camera. We love if we can do that, but no, not really. I love the creativity though.
What about publishing an open or a public API so other devices can integrate to it?
I think that's a very big topic. I don't think we have a ready answer for that. Open up API means a lot internally, the system and the design, the API design, and also how they interact. What permission do we give? It's such a large topic. I don't think we have an answer today.
This next one, I'll take a stab at answering, and then maybe all four of us can also give a little bit of input. But this question is, what's the difference between the V2, so the Wisecam? So what's the difference between this guy and then our newly launched product, this guy? And they go, weatherproofing, sure, but what else? So in my opinion, there's quite a bit that's different. I'm probably going to answer it for everyone as well. But the number one thing for me is that it's battery powered. I can literally put this anywhere, and I don't have to worry about running a wire, or if I run a wire, I don't have to worry about hiding it. I was able to put this on my balcony and just look out. Like, it took 2 minutes as opposed to having to find an extension cord, always having it run through my patio door. The second thing is the motion detection is different. So this guy uses PIR, which is passive infrared. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Dongsheng, but it's the same technology when you walk into an office building and the lights turn on, you hear that click. That's the same technology as this. So it essentially senses body heat, and then it'll start recording from that. Whereas this guy actually senses pixel changes. So if a shadow goes across, or if something falls in front of this, it'll notice the pixel change, will start recording. And then, like you guys said, the weatherproofing is the other one. But did either or any of you guys have any things that you thought make it way different?
I mean, I would probably say the same things. Like, my favorite use case for it right now is, like, everyone's working from home right now. My kids are all not in school. And so, like, when my wife needs to go run in there, and I'll literally just go grab it from wherever I had it last. And, like, they'll be doing their homework on the table, and I'll just, like, or by the practicing their piano or whatever, I'll just throw it on them, and then I can get stuff done. I had, like, my phone up watching them. It's just so flexible to be able to put it wherever they are and keep an eye on things. The battery power is just awesome. I mean, we say it's an outdoor camera, but as an indoor wireless camera, it's super, super convenient. And then, like, the PIR sensor, I get way less like bug notifications, and, like, the notifications are more meaningful on the outdoor cam with the PIR.
I also want to add to this as well. And like the V2, we actually, because the PIR sensor, we actually able to shorten the cooldown time to like 1 minute. So we got a lot of like good suggestion from customers, say, oh, 5 minutes cooldown is too long. In this new camera, we're able to shorten it to 1 minute. So people be loving it.
Dongsheng, anything? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I want to add one thing. I think we should be honest about the use cases, though. So the thing that's different is the continuous recording, right? So in some situations, the V2 is going to be better than the outdoor cam, right? Like, if you are someone that needs that continuous recording all the time, the V2 is still a solid option. Like, the battery power comes with some sacrifices in that regard.
Yeah, I definitely echo that. I think, I mean, first of all, we did, this is Wisecam Outdoor. It's not V3, although, there is something in the work. But anyway, this is built with the intention to offer that maximum flexibility. And because we've seen so many cases where users are limited by the cord, by the weather, and this is built for that. But if you are running a V2 continuous record and works great, this is probably not the best replacement of that. You may be waiting for V3 or something else. But if you find yourself wanting to put this, you want to capture more variety of different things, you want to monitor a little bit harder to get to places, and you don't want to drill holes in your walls, you don't want to run long extension cords, this is a perfect, and that's designed with that use case in mind. So it's not a does everything best type of camera, but it has very, very strong use cases. This is the best camera for it. And not to mention the travel mode. I love the travel mode.
And it can also be used indoors.
Indoors as well, yeah.
So the next question we got, it was asked by a few different people. Are there any anti-theft measures in place?
I
was gonna say quickly, the best one is the micro SD card in the base station.
Mm-hmm.
So you back up those clips, those event clips to the base station if someone were to steal the camera. That's the most obvious one to me.
Right. So if you don't want people to get access to your camera easily, you can totally try Dongsheng's method. You can use the 1/4 inch mounting hole. Another mechanism we built is that if they physically have physical access to your outdoor camera, they cannot set it up, like reset the camera up. We will block their attempt if they try to do that, and then send you an email notification when someone's trying to set up your camera. And
Yeah, oh, go ahead.
It's also same to the base station as well.
Yeah, that brings up an interesting edge case that we found out when we were working on travel mode. So, for example, you take this camera and maybe you take it to a public space. And so the way that travel mode works on the camera is that the Wisecam outdoor emits its own Wi-Fi signal, and then you connect to it with your phone. And so when you do that, there's a Wi-Fi signal being emitted. But another security measure that Lee and Dongsheng put in this is the password protection of that Wi-Fi connection. So it's just another added layer that we were able to find through all of our testing. But for the physical, yeah, so there's kind of like the software security and then the physical security of it. The next question is do you guys have any information about ultraviolet proofing to avoid pink purple hues?
Yeah, I think it's a part of the standard. When we I mean, first of all, we want to build this to be outdoors, so we've went through so many different tests and also different things like UV is one of them. We have camera. Let's mention we've done beta testing for over a year. We have cameras outside for a year. It doesn't get yellow or any other color because we have the material has UV has things to do with the UV.
What about the working with person detection or complete motion capture?
So at the time of launch, we will have person detection enabled for outdoor camera, but complete motion capture is gonna it's still in the work, coming soon for outdoor camera, but we will have person detection.
Yeah, just clarify, person detection is in beta, so that goes. I guess the better way to put it is the outdoor will follow the same as the V2 because they are using the same mechanism, uploading 12-second video to the cloud. So whatever V2 can do on the cloud, we'll do that for the outdoor camera. But for complete motion capture, we are working on it. It will be a post-launch feature release.
To preserve battery life, what are some things people can do to extend or get the most out of the battery life on a single charge? And so one of the things I can think about, Dongsheng, and I'd love to hear more from you guys as well, is you can do some stuff within the app. For example, my use case is I only want to record people between midnight and 5 a.m. And so I set up a schedule to do that. So I don't really care about motion triggering in the daytime, especially that now that we've been working from home for so long. But while I'm asleep, I want to get to know who is in the parking lot or near my car during the certain time. And so that really helps improve the battery life. Are there any other ways that you can think of that you guys have engineered to do that?
Yeah, we've done we take battery life very seriously. So there's a lot of things we put in there, and I also give you some tips. One is one of the mechanism is this is just kind of for generally good for you to know is if you live streaming it, of course it'll wake up the camera, they'll consume the battery. But if you're just watching the 12-second cloud video, you're not actually waking up the camera. So you can watch the 12-second cloud video in the event tab as many as you want. It wouldn't necessarily consume the battery. But again, live streaming will consume the battery. So if you group outdoor camera with other camera in a group, for V2, when you enter the group view with the multi-camera, it automatically streaming, which means for outdoor camera, which means you have to wake up the camera. So we add a little bit of extra step there just to confirm if you have a camera, you have an outdoor camera with a V2 grouping together, you have to do one extra click to enable the live stream. That's just a mechanism to remind you that, yeah, you actually want to do that. You don't want to unintentionally use a lot of the battery in that case. The other thing is it's a lot to do with how do you place the camera. The PR will work a lot better with outside with small movements that typically cause false alert. But again, this is not a bulletproof technology. So what you want to do is to avoid directly facing the camera to sun with the sun in the view where lights can go in, or pointing it slightly downwards to look at the area you really want to focus in instead of looking at a wide with like larger trees waving. I'll do a lot better with the trees, but it's not bulletproof. So I think a little things like that, better place the camera to capture what you wanted, will help with the battery life as well.
Awesome. Yeah, there's so many ways to go. And we actually, at the bottom of the product page, we have a setup video which explains a lot of that. And then I know within the app onboarding and the quick start guide, there's some information on how to do that as well. The next thing is, so we mentioned that you can have 4 Wisecam outdoors connected to 1 base station. But how many total cameras can you have connected to your account? So let's say you buy 3 base stations. Can you have 12 cameras, or is there a limit?
There is no limit.
There you go. All right, that was good. Yeah, because it looked like a lot of folks were wanting 5 or more. Why? So can you
while
also...
you're talking about that, Scott, real quick, I think it's important to note that like right now the current limit is 4 cameras per base station. The main reason for that is because it's not been thoroughly tested beyond 4 cameras per base station. So that's something that could change in the future once more thorough testing is done, and maybe we feel good about 5 cameras per base station. Right now, it's limited to 4 to make sure the performance on the cameras is good enough to handle. But once more testing is done, that could increase.
Good point.
The next thing for Dongsheng and Lee, what were the biggest challenges that you guys overcame when you've been building this?
Ion battery. Talk about
a lot. I mean, we're talking about here, Lee and I. We're kind of the focus on this, but I just want you guys to know there's a very large group of people dedicated on the outdoor camera, and we hear a lot of comments that we've not put enough resources on the outdoor camera. But I just want to take this opportunity to see we have put our best people and the largest group of people on outdoor camera for 2 years. We were not able to talk about it because it was in development, but this project started June 2018, and we overcome a lot of obstacles. And part is we learn and trying to challenge ourselves to be able to compete with the industry, but part of it just is a complex product. The moment we decide to go with the battery, with outside, with the PR, those 3 things are meshing together like a bad formula. You have to really figure out how to better do all of them, because they goes against each other, right? If your PR is too much, it's not accurate. It causes the battery drains. You have the weather. There's so many elements. But I want to take this opportunity to say that we have a large group of people. I want to give them a shout out. They've dedicated working on the outdoor camera for so long, through this stuff. I think they deserve the credit for that. But talking about challenges, it's just a lot.
I think the cool thing about this though is a lot of those things, it took us a while to figure it out, 2 years to figure it out, but a lot of the things that we've learned in this process and solving those problems are going to make future product development so much better. I mean, talk about like a Wisecam V3 or something. Like some of the things that we've learned through the outdoor cam development process are going to get us so much farther ahead when we're developing those next products. That'll be a really cool bonus.
And also our beta testers. This is our longest beta testing ever. We couldn't done this without them.
The next question is asking about, it's a technical question. It says, does the Wisecam Outdoor use the same Wi-Fi chip as the V2 and the Pan?
It's a different brand, but it's the same technology, I guess, in a nutshell.
Will the base station be able to be bought separately from the Wisecam Outdoor, or do you have to buy the starter bundle?
This is more of a kind of a business decision. Right now, we are not offering the single base station because the base station is literally, if you calculate the difference, it's about $10. We figured if you want another base station, you might well just buy a starter bundle that includes a camera together, so that you can expand on that on top of that. So there's two options: starter bundle that includes a base station, and then a single expansion cam.
And sorry, my internet froze for a second. For the SD cards, what are the max sizes for the Wisecam outdoor camera itself, and then in the base station?
They're the same as V2s. We support up to 32 gigabytes. Although some testers put much bigger SD cards in them, and they're working properly. But yeah, they're same as V2 and Pan. Cool.
Yeah, no, that's and then we sell we sell those SD cards as well on our website. The integrations for WCO. Can you talk about, there are a couple parts here. So the Alexa, the Google Home, but then can you also talk about integrations with the Wyze ecosystem, and essentially can you talk about all the different ways that the Wisecam Outdoor will work with other things other than just the camera itself?
The only thing that's not available at launch is probably the complete motion capture. When we build a new product, we make sure that it's fully integrated with our Wyze lifestyle. So it has rules, the automation, and it also works with our sensor systems. So you can trigger a sensor video with your outdoor camera. Yeah, I can't think of anything on top of my head. But yeah, we're fully integrated.
Can you set up rules with the Wisecam Outdoor that say if motion is sensed, turn on the Wyze bulb?
Yes, you can do that.
So there's some it's a leading question because it's a cool use case that I actually love. So if it senses motion, if the Wisecam Outdoor senses motion in the time that I'm recording, like midnight to 5 a.m. when no one should be out there, you can turn on your Wyze bulb in your living room. So it looks like that someone is up and awake. And so that kind of like starts touching upon the broader vision of what a smart home is. The home takes care of you and itself proactively. And so it's kind of cool that we're starting to build that bridge to get there. The next question is, what is we talked about the max distance. The 5 gigahertz versus, what is it, 2.4 or 2.5 gigahertz? Why does it not support the 5 gigahertz? Assuming it doesn't, but can you guys answer that one?
Yeah, we got that a lot, but it's the same as the V2. I mean, in a kind of nutshell, 5 is faster but shorter, shorter range, and adding a 5 into the product increase the cost, but doesn't give you much benefit because the range are shorter than the 2.4. So we stick with 2.4 for video transmitting, especially when you need the range.
Another question is if people can replace the battery.
The battery is not replaceable. It's I can show you a little bit, but anyway, I have the stuff open, but it's not. Is it rechargeable? It's not replaceable. Actually, we should probably touch upon the charging since we're on the battery. This is a part that I want to kind of emphasize a little bit because it uses micro USB to charge. So let me close my so with the starter bundle, you have a base station. On the side of the base station there's USB port, and we included a USB to micro USB cable, and that's how you charge the camera. You can use your own power adapters to just make sure they are 5 volt 2 amp. If you look at Wisecam V2, which is 5 volt 1 amp, pan is 5 volt 2 amp. If you use some of the newer cell phone power adapter, I think it should have enough power, but don't use the V2's power adapter to charge it because it's going to take much longer. So that's how you charge it. If you buy the single cam expansion, it'll come with the power adapter and the cable.
We have a question from the chat. What is the Wi-Fi range of travel mode, and can you change the SSID of the travel mode Wi-Fi?
The range on the travel mode, the range is not very far. I would say, I can't remember, 30 feet. I haven't really figured out exactly, but I think the purpose of the travel mode is for you to access the camera. The use case we can imagine if you're in a hotel, right? Your baby is sitting in one room, you're sitting in the other room, you're just having your dinner. You can use the travel mode to monitor the baby, something like that, or you use the travel mode to access the camera and set up some task, and then you leave the travel mode, and the camera will continue to carry on that task. So the travel mode is meant for those scenarios, not meant for long range remote monitoring. Like you can't go like 100 yards and still use travel mode.
Yeah, that's and so that's another question that is kind of depending on if there are walls in between, and so I've personally found just setting it up and then walking away is the most practical for me, especially if I want to take time lapses or get on with doing other stuff. Dongsheng, I've been told you have a demo to show some of the weather resistance, so can you talk a little bit about weather resistance and then also show us and prep us what you're about to do?
Yeah. So it's IP65 rated, and if you Google IP65, there's a standard on how do you pass them. So you have a water jet shooting it from different angles for how long. So we pass that, so that's good enough for you to put out outside. You've seen some of the pictures or from our testers, like just normal rain, downpour, thunderstorm, it all go okay. But we wanna go a little bit beyond that for the demo. So what I want to do is actually making sure. So what I want to show first is this picture. So I just want to make that disclaimer so I don't get into trouble. It's not meant for this, and I don't recommend to do this as a regular use. But I think it's a little bit fun for us as AMA, just do something a little bit crazy. So I put this guy into this fish tank for probably 30 minutes before the AMA, so that's about an hour ago. Unfortunately, this is my case fish tank, and this is actually from Dave Crosby. We had a Christmas party. I got this
That's
fish
from
tank.
that's from the white elephant. Where's the
White
gold?
elephant, yeah.
Okay, where's the
fish was-
goldfish though?
Yeah,
It
I'm
came with a
sorry.
goldfish, man.
I know, I'm sorry, they died. my kids got heartbroken when they died. But anyway, I put the cameras in there. I have the travel mode, which is, I don't know if you can see this, but this is the view from the camera through the travel mode. It's pretty
Can
smooth.
you wave in front of it?
Yeah, I guess I have to figure out a hand. How do I do a hand? The camera angle is a little tough to do.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So it's been there, you know, I'm a little afraid that's gonna fail, but I did this test multiple times. On Saturday, I put it in there for a couple hours. So there you go. But again, I want to emphasize this part of it.
Nice. So what? How about is there so we see that it can work in a fishbowl, which is like kind of like probably very few people using a fishbowl. So I think that goes to show it's and we previously talked about the operating temperature. It sounds like it's pretty much ready for every single season, no matter the exposure. And that's like that's a huge difference between the V2. Like this thing, you don't need a milk jug to cover it. You don't need to buy any accessories. This thing is already made and ready to be hit with the elements.
I think
So,
in
cool.
the testing, that was the thing that came through like the loudest and the clearest, right? Is like users were like super impressed with the weatherproofing on it.
And I want to also kind of take this opportunity to give a couple of stories from the beta testing. This is the harshest thing we've seen in the beta testing. The being frozen in the ice cube is one of them. We have another tester who mounted the camera on the tree, and I believe a lightning stroke, probably the tree besides it, and the camera recorded the whole lightning, and just went white, and then down. And he took the camera down, put it in the house for a couple of days, not a couple of days, for a while, and the backup is still working. So that's one of the harshest thing. And the other thing is I think there was a fall from like pretty tall, I forgot, it's like 13 or 30 feet. You know, it kind of sustained that. Not to say that's what we advertised to be, but the point is that there's a lot of fun happened during the beta test that the camera went through a lot of harsh kind of environment.
I put it in my dishwasher, I put it in the dishwasher at work, and it did fine on the dishwasher.
So we've run through the majority of the questions that were submitted yesterday. Even though a little over 100 questions were submitted, a lot of them were asking a lot of the same questions, and so we still have about 12 minutes left. So I'm gonna focus on the chat right here. Okay, so here's a good one from Brian. What happens if you leave it plugged into the power? And then I'm on the marketing side. I don't know what a trickle charger is. But Dongsheng, do you know what a trickle charger is and what happens if you leave it plugged in?
Yeah, I think so. So if you leave it plugged into work as normal, it's indeed a trickle charging the camera. You know, on the more technical side, I think so the other thing to kind of talk about is the lithium ion battery, which is pretty standard. They typically charges 300, 500 cycles until their capacity shrink down to, you know, 80% or 70%. But for our normal use case, you charge a couple of months. So that's a really, really long time before you see the percentage battery start shrinking. So we're talking about you charge it maybe 3 to 6 months a year. No, sort of 3 to 6 months, 2 to 4 times a year. Hard to do the math. So that's not going to have the impact on the battery. But if you keep it charging, it'll have a little bit impact on the battery, but not much. But again, I think the point here is, you know, if you really want to keep it charging and do the continuous recording, I think the V2 is actually a better option. There's for this one shines in a very different places where, you know, you don't want to drill holes in the wall.
And I saw a couple of questions come up in chat. The first one is if this then that. Will this be working with IFT? Or can you explain a little bit about that?
Yep, like V2 and Pen, outdoor camera will also support IFT. It will also work with Alexa and Google by the time of launch. So you can set up a like IFT rules to when outdoor camera detects motion, you can do other stuff. For example, turning on the light bulb. And you can also, like if you have a motion sensor, you can ask the outdoor camera to record a video and upload to the cloud. Very standard.
And then the next question is, how does the base station save battery or improve the battery life of the Wisecam Outdoor, or how does it affect it?
I'll give a shorter answer. I think you can go a lot more technical, but in short, it keeps camera alive. For example, if you want to watch live streaming, you have to wake up the camera. So the camera needs to keep a certain heartbeat with the base station, and there is a mutually agreed upon frequency to do that. So that means when you click live stream, you can rather quickly see the live stream of the camera. That mechanism alone is very difficult to go with a variety of different brands of Wi-Fi routers. They may have different way of frequency to do that. If you, for example, you have another brand of the Wi-Fi router that has a very fast, frequent messaging that just keep draining the battery. So the base station help us manage that. So there's a one-to-one dedicated, not one-to-one, but it's a dedicated protocol between the camera and the base station. Now we can optimize that communication between the two devices.
The next one is, I might be able to answer this one. It's what is the benefit to early access? And the benefit to early access is what we try to do is we have a limited number of inventory that we make available before we do a general launch. So for example, early access typically lasts 14 days or until the inventory is sold out. It's whichever comes first. And then after that early access period, the outdoor camera is not available until a few weeks after that period, when it's then opened up to the general public. And so for early access, what we aim to do is, if you're one of the early access backers, we want to deliver that product to you before the general public, so before that general launch. So the whole idea of early access is we're just trying to give you guys a way to get first dibs on getting an outdoor camera before the general public does. And so that I didn't know if Lee, Dave, Dongsheng, you guys have anything to add to that as well.
I think just the other thing is just generally we want to, I think, interact a lot. So we do all these different things, just try to interact with our users, help us, share more information, but help us also build a better product as well.
How about Lee, I think you can answer this one. Does the Wisecam Outdoor show you the battery life, and is there an indicator to let you know if the battery is running low or if you need to charge it?
Yeah, so on the homepage, there will be like battery level, and if you're just keep it running outside of your home, when it's hit the low battery, it will actually send you a push notification so that you can take it back and charge it, and then put it outside again.
Excellent. How about any video doorbells in the future? That's the most recent one I saw. Not really related to Wisecam Outdoor, but.
Yes, it's coming.
Okay.
Beta testing right now.
I've got it on my front door right now, testing it.
We see a lot of things for t-shirts. That's always been something we've considered. We haven't launched any merchandise or anything yet, but we'll work with our e-com team to see if that's something we want to do. What happens when the battery stops taking a charge? Is that question, I just want to understand it correctly. Is that question for like when the battery is completely depleted and doesn't work anymore? I'll wait for Steven to reply, but in case Steven doesn't, what about group live streaming for outdoor cameras?
Oh yeah, you can group outdoor camera with V2 and pan. So and you can also group multiple outdoor cameras together. Yeah, it works with camera group. And also, Scott, where's your Wyze t-shirt?
Oh, come on, Lee. I forgot to. I got ready. So for everyone's heads up, I told everyone else to wear a Wyze t-shirt, and then I totally forgot to. Even though I'm working from home, I could go in the next room. So no excuses. I know I should have worn it. Another one is about Canada. Yes, it is not. Wyze is not currently available from Wyze.com in Canada. I don't have any better news other than that, but I did want to get you guys an answer.
I heard yesterday that it was, I mean, I don't want to say this because I've heard it so many times, but it was getting close is what I heard in a meeting yesterday, but I don't even want to say that because we've been told that a million times, right?
We don't want to make any promises. Yeah, it is not available yet. Another question was about an outdoor plug. So any ideas on that, Lee or Dongsheng?
A new product, like a outdoor, like a Wyze plug in outdoor format.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
That's in the work. Yes, we have that because it's actually a relatively straightforward product for us. It's an iteration of the Wyze plug of its outdoor capability, basically weatherproofing. Yes.
So that's, we mentioned this earlier in the stream, but that's one of the differences between us and some other folks on the market, is that we're really trying to offer everything that we can and offer it at that affordable price and offer a range of products. And so we're now getting into the outdoor space. We're going to be getting into a lot of different spaces. We've made quite a few product announcements in some of our older videos. I think one of the bigger ones was our Wyzes. It's still on YouTube if you want to go back and watch it. We did announce quite a few things during that. That was a fun thing we did. But yes, a ton of stuff is coming. A lot of really cool stuff. A lot of stuff that makes sense. That's going to be able to work with the Wisecam Outdoor and all the recent product launches. We have 2 minutes left, and I think we answered quite a few questions, but I want to give the remaining 2 minutes to Lee, Dongsheng, or Dave to give any final thoughts or thank everyone for coming in. So Lee, I want to start with you and then go Dongsheng and then Dave.
We make it after 2 years. It's DS probably has more to say, but it is it's a long journey, and can't believe we made it with our testers and users. It's surreal.
Yeah, I would say. Sorry, I would say yes. We did not keep the promise for a couple of times. We initially, I think, said 2019, end of 2019. So there was some delays. So thank you for thanks to all of you for being patient and tuning in to this EMA. So that shows a lot support to us and appreciate it.
I'll just add one thing. I'll also apologize for the delays in this camera. Obviously, all of us have been like dying to get this thing out there, so we're so excited that it's finally out there. And we missed our 2019 promise, but the promise that we did not miss is our commitment to the lowest price possible. I have been in all of those meetings where we're looking at different options of how we could price this thing. And man, it would be great to make a couple extra bucks here to help this margin and help this margin. And like always those conversations going back to, we have to do what's like, if our customers are our friends, what would we do? Like we will commit to the lowest possible price that we can possibly do. And that's what we ended up doing. And we just hope that commitment to our users, that is not going to change from us, that we're gonna run a business the best way we can, but we are going to also commit that we will have the lowest prices possible and treat customers like friends, and hope that comes through on the pricing and the features that we've taken your feedback to build into this product. And we'll continue to do so as the product gets better going forward.
Yeah, well said. You guys said it way better than I could. So we're at 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock Pacific. We want to respect everyone's time. We want to thank everyone for joining us. It looks like we have about 543 watching now. A lot of people have been hopping on and off as we've been doing this. Thank you so much for being a part of our launch day. Like they said, 2 years in the making. Finally, we get to show it all off. Look forward to a lot of new stuff coming from us. We still got some things planned. But thank you all. And if you have any other questions, feel free to join the Wyze Core community on Facebook. That's where a lot of you folks share videos, you ask questions, and you just generally have a good time and chat with one another. So join us there.